Okay, so we've looked at the empiricists, who were Bacon, Locke, Berkeley as well, and Hume. Yet Berkeley is an idealist, unlike perhaps the other three, who you might argue are all realists. Yeah, these guys are all realists, but Berkeley is an idealist. He believes that there's only the mind that exists, yeah, that there is no material world. Whereas the other guys, they all seem to believe that there is a real world somewhere, and so we would call them realists, Locke, Hume and Francis Bacon. But firstly, I want to compare the empiricists, who said that only a certain type of knowledge was possible, only empirical knowledge, only knowledge of the world. That's all we get, this empirical knowledge. And compare the empiricists to the rationalists, who believe that we have access to knowledge before we have access to our experiences. We don't need to have any experiences to get knowledge. And the kind of knowledge they're thinking about is a different kind of knowledge. Yeah, it's a different kind of knowledge than what these guys are thinking about. Because these guys, and Plato too, they were thinking about mathematical knowledge. And they realised that you can sit there, perhaps, I don't know, I'm not a mathematician, but you can sit there and work out a lot of the geometric ideas, the laws of geometry, yeah, like Euclid did a long time ago. Yeah, and their point was that Euclid didn't go around and do experiments to find out all of these geometric ideas, yeah. He used his brain and he demonstrated that a triangle always has internal angles of 180 degrees and that parallel lines never meet and things like that. Yeah, he demonstrated it using rationality. And this will be very important today when we look at Kant, because Kant has looked at all of the previous philosophers and he's seen some problems and he's tried to deal with them. Okay, so compare Descartes. Spinoza as well was a rationalist. He believed that you could get a lot of knowledge from just sitting and thinking things through, and you could work things out with a priori knowledge. Now remember that a priori means knowledge that you get without experience, prior to experience. That's the way I see it. And a posteriori knowledge is knowledge based on experiences that you have. And please remember that, you know, for the empiricists, even the law of causality, and remember this was Hume's problem of induction, even the law of causality cannot be justified. Yeah, according to the empiricists, there's no way you can justify the law of causality with a priori knowledge. Yeah, there's no way you can do it in that way. But there's no a posteriori justification for believing that causes always have effects. Yeah, that every effect is preceded by a cause. Yet there's no reason to believe that that's necessarily the case. There's no a priori or a posteriori reason for it, according to Hume. And he had a strong argument here. You know, he said that you can't use a priori knowledge for the external world because a priori knowledge is self-evident. And we will see that Kant disagrees here, and this is very important. This is what we'll talk about here when we look at the difference between synthetic and analytic. But Hume said that we don't have any justification. We can't have any a priori justification because that's for self-evident truths, geometric truths, mathematical truths. It can't tell us anything about the external world, and we can't use a posteriori knowledge to justify a posteriori knowledge because that leads to a circular argument.